This is different. Whoa, what? Tell me I've saved up to 75% on a holiday sale from PlayStation. Oh my God. No, we're not sponsored by PlayStation.
I was about to say,
Oh
what
God.
podcast are we doing here?
I don't know. I'm reading things at the same time while I'm waiting for us to get that little bit of, live going. You
Well, I just
know?
got a bunch of new recipes, apparently.
I know, it's doing the same thing. So,
That's a very purple block, and I appreciate it.
okay, so I believe we are live and everything. So, welcome to Batyards Finest. I am Mateo. From Gotham. This is gonna be a different take.
Um, we're just
We're
gonna be
playing
casual about it.
Minecraft. Yeah, this is a different take of it. We had a little bit of hiccups with logging into the normal podcast website we usually use, and so we're gonna take it from here. We're doing a podcast, an episode about what's it called, Godzilla Minus One today, and playing a little bit of Minecraft. Welcome to our
Yes.
Minecraft realm. That is a duck.
Yes,
That is my
yes.
proud duck up in the sky. Hey, man, leave me alone.
We love
And-
the duck.
So we actually, well, let's get this going with Jerry. Introduce yourself, my friend. Well,
As always, you all know who I am. I'm Jerry.
And then
I'm
our-
gonna just be casual tonight. Super casual.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time. We're gonna
I
be
know, it is
casual for
Christmas time. And then we have our special guest, Jimmy.
The Comet Goblin has come out from the shadows.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, I should be using my freaking mine carts, but we're not using mine carts. Technically, we are doing. This is gonna be a weird stream. We're gonna be so sidetracking and everything. But
We apologize. We did try for like 15 solid
Where even
minutes
are
to
you?
get logged into the website.
going to the
but
village.
I was just having trouble.
Yes.
So
It's
I was
whatever.
like, oh, let's just do it vocally and have Minecraft as a backdrop. So please forgive us for the no BGM, everything else of this sort and whatnot.
Yeah, so-
playing Minecraft and doing this really makes me like want to be like, are we supposed to start giving out life advice?
No.
Yes.
And
Are
then
we?
bouncing off of mushrooms or something? You know.
Oh God. Welcome to our village. Here we go. But does anyone have any like BS news? Usually we talk about DC news or any pop culture news and anything like that that's been floating around. I got here and there Godzilla news. That's really it.
I mean,
I
got some-
have the one thing I told you about, Crispy,
Mm-hmm.
about Paramount and Warner Brothers. Jimmy, did you have any pop culture news you might want to share?
Turtle Farm.
Well,
Oh, we can't
actually,
look at that.
I do act. Well, I mean,
God
I don't
damn
know,
those.
You know, everyone probably knows by now, but there was a huge data leak for Insomniac games.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear
so
about
there was-
that.
I didn't hear
Yeah,
about
so
that.
there's a hacker group that threatened for I think it was like 2 million, or else they dump the files. And Sony was like, "Yeah, heck no, get bent," and they leaked the files. So we now know that Venom is coming out in 2024,
Nice.
Wolverine 2025, and I believe Spider-Man 3 is set for around like 2028ish. But besides getting really nice publicity on that, there were a lot of documents, like personal documents, that
Mhm.
were leaked as well, and contracts between Sony and
Shoot, I need
Marvel.
to finish this railroad.
Now, did Insomniac have a PlayStation port of Sunset Overdrive?
Not that we're aware of.
I wish
Of
that
course
would come
not.
back. Actually,
Man,
didn't they
That
buy that a
was-
long time ago?
it was a Microsoft exclusive, but
It was a Microsoft exclusive, but I thought Sony bought it off of them.
I
because
think they
Microsoft wasn't doing
they
anything.
just haven't touched it.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Yeah, that was a weird game to just acquire for the sake of not doing anything with.
Yeah, I'm on my
Crispy, Did
railroad.
you want to share your news?
So okay, so due to that, we're talking about Godzilla Minus One today. So Godzilla Minus One has got extended for the second time in basically in America theaters. So it's going to be staying until January 3rd instead of disappearing, I think, at the end of this week or somewhere around next week. They were supposed to like leave our theaters, but they're extending it because it's doing so good in theaters here. So it's actually going to make it. I'm so excited for this movie that like it's getting so much publicity and like for a Toho movie because normally we don't get Toho movies in America like like around a release time. It's more like later on, like maybe a year or two, that we get more our stuff because they normally get dubbed, and then if you want subbed, you can get like pretty much at the same time, but it's gonna be a little bit longer to get it. But yeah, it's like kind of strange, actually.
Oh,
I
agree.
did see that, and I was like, that is so unusual.
No, it is. It's really unusual because like it's just like we're so stuck with our American version of it, and then nobody really pays attention like to the Japanese Toho one like actually doing great in our theaters until like this movie said, "Bitch, please, I'm coming in." And it's like it's just great to actually have a Toho movie just rock the theaters
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for
'cause,
us.
well, with Shin Godzilla, they just because they did a release, but it was ridiculously limited. I think the closest
Yeah.
like was like New York City was like for all of New York, essentially.
Yeah.
if I
Yeah, it
remember.
was like
Yeah.
I remember that. It was like so stupid with the release for Shin Godzilla, but like the Shin Godzilla thing was like it got me hyped, and then it kicked me in the balls once I started actually seeing trailers for it, and I just didn't like how it freaking did its transformation shit they were doing for it. I
see, I
like it
liked
just
but
like it makes sense. Godzilla should do this like weird evolve forming thing that like it
Yeah.
should be a thing for him too. Like that's a neat concept, but it just rubbed me wrong with certain evolved forms, like his forms. And I was just like, this
Yeah.
doesn't look good. Because
That's
I'm so used to like his normal forms and like what's it called? We had like this one movie that I want to add into our segment. We actually get into actually talking about minus one. But there's like one movie, Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah, where you get him technically, what's it called? Evolving into our Godzilla form from a pre-state Godzilla form.
mm,
So like we kind of had that, but like at the same time, like we didn't have like him evolving. But then Singular Point took the same concept, but he didn't start from like a worm thing. He started from like a sea monster thing, and then kept evolving from that. So Singular Point is not a bad anime that's on Netflix. It's kind of neat, but it could have been better. Not gonna lie, they definitely screwed up Jet Jaguar, and everything has to be AI. That kind of annoys the shit out of me with the AI thing. Everything has to be AI in animes now more. So it could have just been a just straight up just full out Godzilla movie, but whatever. I mean, yeah.
It's not how it works anymore.
Nope. Jerry, this is to the net. Oh, I'm not prepared to go back to another. Shoot.
The little bit of news I had was just I've seen
back. No.
not people, but I've seen it floating around that Warner Brothers and Paramount are discussing a potential merger.
Like we were discussing this earlier. It's like Yoko Ono in a way for me, but like at the same time, it's like I kind of want to see what they want to do.
It's really only a few titles I don't want Warner Brothers to kind of touch because I like them where they are. They apply to just the niche of people who like them, which is, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
and,
true.
of course, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
The thing is, like,
we've already seen, Transformers go up and down in various opinions in film.
Such a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ninja Turtles, I'm glad that, it's coming back again. Just to get, the next generation of kids hyped up for it. G.I. Joe, I'm glad it's kind of fading in and out because I remember watching so much G.I. Joe and taking in the propaganda. I'm like, no, I don't want that anymore.
The thing is, like, G.I. Joe was actually pretty nice when it was a cartoon. And then they actually made, like, a live movie. And, like, the live movie with, like, was actually, the first one was not bad.
First one was
Then
great.
the second one is just, like, they just got rid of Marlon Williams. And then Channing Tatum just gets blown the fuck up. And then it's just The Rock now. And I'm like, no. Stop it. Like, who cares? Bring back the original people so we can actually do the thing right here. Is The Rock G.I. Joe? No. Is The Rock... It just didn't make sense. It literally just killed people off just to make another movie with The Rock. It pissed me off.
I didn't watch the second one because I loved the first one so much. I knew I wasn't going to
like
it.
The first one had... like character, like
It
there
had
was growth.
pizzazz,
Yeah,
flair.
but like the characters were normal like soldiers, and they got signed up for this new program called G.I. Joe, the Joe program technically, and then what's it called? They go through this whole process of becoming an advanced soldiers unit and becoming the thing they need to become, and then they just wipe them out in the second one. Those two main characters, gone. I don't know what happened to Marlon Williams. I just think the contract wasn't good enough. They just didn't re-up his contract. And then Tatum Channing, wow, can't say his name right now.
Tatum?
Thank
There we
you.
go.
Thank you. I'm broken with his name. They just said, fuck you, they just killed you. Like, killed him off. Like, why? Why bring him back if you're just gonna kill him? Like,
I don't know.
but yeah, no. But, like, I don't want to pay for, was it Paramount? So if they do this merger, I'll be fine. Put everything from Paramount on Max so I can watch Halo for once. I do want to try out the Halo.
Good. It's good. I
Well,
watched it.
Wait, you like? Oh no!
I've been
I love
watching,
it. We need
like,
a cast on that.
well,
I love it.
the thing is, like, I watched, like, a lot of reviews of, like, a lot of Halo people and, like, all this other stuff. A lot of Halo, like, diehard Halo fans actually despise that the Paramount show so
Yeah, I
bad.
fucking hate it.
It's just
I
so
love it.
bad. A lot of people have issues with it. And a lot of people actually bring up this old one that came out years ago. It was like a movie they put out.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Forward Down or something like that? And they actually had like it was like super pre like Halo everything crap. And everyone's like, this is like the perfect Halo, actually, perfect Halo movie. And hey, Shadow, what's? Oh no, whoa, you're not Shadow. I can't get out. I can't get out.
Now.
I can't get
I'm
out.
I'm shagging.
But no, like they have issues. Like a lot of Halo fans have issues with that new show, and they rather not consider it Halo, in the Halo universe or canon. If anything,
I don't know if I'd go that far myself, but
like they
definitely
have
a lot of
issues
stuff.
with like Master Chief showing his face, Master Chief him being naked for some reason, and all this other junk.
Like, yeah.
There's like a lot of
Him being
issues,
naked was fine.
including they had another issue with like they kind of like they kind of thing with the old like that old movie. Whenever you saw like a Spartan take off their helmet, they looked a little bit different than normal humans because they're so like they're just science projects that they actually looked a lot different than what a normal human would look. So a lot of people are just like happier with that design than what we actually just had normal humans running at like just at 7 foot to 9 foot tall statures.
I'm really running faster than you.
I'm on no food. I'm dying actually.
Oh, okay.
I
I
need
was
to
like,
eat.
huh? Do you need food?
I got steaks. I'm eating them now. But does anyone? Oh, new issue of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong came out. Still haven't read it yet. I need to read it. Probably read it tomorrow. But the series is actually doing pretty good.
Nice.
So I can't wait to see what's inside this issue. Yeah, that's really it for me. With like anything like what's it called? Like any news.
While I'm thinking on it, you know what actually really I am excited. I'd like to be excited for.
What?
What's that?
Is that thinking on Halo? Did anyone watch season 2 trailer, Jerry? Did you watch it?
I have not watched it yet. No.
Okay.
Season 2 trailer of what?
They're finally getting to the thing I wanted them to get to, and I was really pissed off that they didn't get to it in the first season. So
Help?
now's the time to get on with that. And
wait, what?
Forever.
In the Halo show?
Yeah, my favorite little creepies.
Oh,
Hunters? The Flood?
The Flood? Yeah. God,
because they showed a sequence of them walking in a place and like there's like creature-like things, and I'm like,
Oh God, the Flood.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, speaking of the Flood just reminded me of another title they would get. It would be Star Trek.
Oh.
Star Trek?
I'm not a big Trekkie, but I have an aunt that loves Star Trek, and that was my she was my gateway into Star Trek: The Next Generation, which we watched together. First off, Star Trek Generation, I love that. I'll say that right now with no problems, and I don't care who it upsets.
It upsets me.
But yeah, Star Trek. I like the little tidbits of the show I've seen. I can't remember if it's the live action or the animated one, but I don't need a whole lot of Star Trek coming my way.
I don't know. I was what?
I was saying because like it seems like Star Trek is really picking up relatively.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Oh no, Star Trek is coming back to life. It's like crazy. But like I've never been a Trekkie fan. Like I've never been a diehard. I never jumped into the world of like that stuff until they made the new movies. Like that was really it.
Yeah, the new.
I got new recipes.
Really, but that is all I have. Godzilla killed Justice League. That's another fun tidbit.
He hasn't killed them yet. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, not yet.
I gotta get to my shop so I can actually get this. Because yeah, man, I'm like, I haven't found a good comic shop here.
Oh, that sucks. Well, Anthony's around, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Anthony is, no. That will always be my comic book shop, so I feel like there's just no getting around that.
Yeah, okay, Jimmy, just plug Anthony in this. Just plug him.
Exactly.
Just go for it.
Comics over in Hyde Park by Haviland Middle School. Go there. Great comics, great prices, nicest people work there. The owner, Anthony, I've never met anyone who's so genuinely interested in comics and sharing.
Dude, he's in a walking encyclopedia.
Sharing the joy.
I just don't know how he has the time to freaking read everything that he has, basically. He just knows or is up to date somehow in some way. It kind of scares me. But, like, it's great, though. Like, you can have a conversation with this guy. It's just, you can go on for hours. I've been there talking about, like, we fell into some, like, holes with it. Like, I've been some deep dives, technically, with Godzilla stuff with him. And I'm like, I want to leave, but I can't leave because we're in this conversation. And I don't want to leave it yet because we haven't finished.
It
is dangerous. It is super dangerous.
Myself because I'd go in, and then 5 hours later, I'd be maybe walking out the door because we just start debating comic stuff, and like it's fantastic. So I mean, if that's up your alley, then right there.
Oh yeah, including if you guys are card fans, like playing trading cards. Any basically, I think it's Magic, Pokemon. Right now they got what's it called?
Wait, what does that logo look like?
It looks like a planet.
Yeah, it looks like a planet. Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
I've ordered cards from him before.
No
possibility.
Like
That's, I mean,
legit. You said Alternaverse. I'm like, I've
yeah.
ordered cars from a place with that name, and I'm like, why does that sound so familiar?
There you go. Oh, I killed myself almost.
Wow. There you
But
go. Yeah, I mean, and he's held so much stuff for me too.
oh,
Like,
dude,
especially during
he's
college, like I'd have him out and dude, the best. He actually, some of my favorite collections I got from him, like my Batman animated series, the
hmm
animated Bible, got that from him. Got the original inking from the Batman, Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage crossover.
Oh,
Like, yeah, because he pulled out like it's like, oh hey, here's like my special private like artwork stuff. If you want, like, if you're interested, I'm like, yeah. And like, I got a lot of really cool stuff from him. He's got a treasure trove, like,
no! Right
of
now
stuff.
he has a signed poster from Paul Rudd right now for Ant-Man. He was just
Oh,
telling
that's
me
Oh,
cool.
right now. He was
well,
just telling me how they did an auction
yeah,
off,
for
and they
a
did a
helmet, right?
couple. Yeah, they had a helmet.
Yeah,
They
for
had two posters. One is
Toys
like
for
the
Tots.
standard poster, and then he had Then he had a standard poster saying Paul Rudd on it. Then there's a poster with Ant Man being super super tiny, and it says "Stay small, Paul Rudd." And Paul Rudd actually wrote on the helmet too, saying "Stay small, Paul Rudd." Actually on the helmet too. He was telling me that yesterday when I was picking up
Yeah,
my Godzilla comics.
I think that was for Toys for Tots. I
I
think.
believe so because he
I
does
know the
Toys for Tots
helmet
every
was.
year.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of the things too. Alternatives, I'm like, I love it every year. Like they go hard for Toys for Tots.
Oh yeah, no, they like
Like,
this. They like to help out the community like as much as
absolutely.
they can.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, no, it's crazy to think. I realized I was trying to do the math. I'm like, I've been getting comics from him for like at least 20 years. I'm like, holy
damn.
heck. Yeah, because they've changed locations over time, and yeah, I used to go get my Sonic comics
Well, I've
as a
always been
kid.
like, okay, well, I know we should need to get into our topic,
Yeah, we.
but like the what's it called? His old comic location was such a hard like the last comic location,
Yeah,
it was such a poor parking location that I never went there because I just never thought I would ever have a
no,
spot there.
and there wasn't enough space because I
No, it
mean, like as I
wasn't.
said,
It
he
was
has like
tight
a
too.
treasure trove of comics, like you know.
No,
But
if
enough
you.
plugging Anthony and Alternaverse. Shout out to Alternaverse for their great low prices on Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Mm-hmm.
If you use our
Oh my
discount code
God.
Distractable for a 10%
Shut
off.
up! You're plugging in another podcast right now? Are you really plugging
Wow.
them?
No, no,
Yes, I'm gonna
no.
kick you and Steve's butt when I see you both. I'll see Steve before
Ow.
you, Jerry, but I'll kick your butt.
Getting shot in the butt. Being
But
attacked by
Crispy, if you
piggins.
would like to lead us in the discussion of Godzilla Minus One,
Woo-wee!
greatest recent Godzilla movie.
Oh God.
Oh,
So basically, Godzilla Minus One is a rebooted Godzilla series. Starting off basically from the beginning, it takes place in 1944 to 1947. That they at least a 3 year. This movie takes upon 3 years. Um, and like it basically starts off in like the end tale of World War II, where this kamikaze pilot lands to get his aircraft fixed and finds out his aircraft has not many problems with it. But when he lands, he ends up like having everybody look at it, and he chills out for a bit to go back on his next flight. But meanwhile, as he's waiting for his plane and everybody to finish working on it, a mysterious creature comes out of nowhere and attacks their airplane repair center and kills everybody there except for one mechanic and the kamikaze pilot that ends up being our main character throughout the whole movie. And as that happens, the kamikaze pilot ends up going back home and visiting his hometown and finds out he's got destroyed due to the nuclear bombs and World War II disasters and everything there. So he has to go through living life after the whole war, and ends up having about a year later, Godzilla ends up coming back into his life as this giant monster of a thing, and he already has PTSD of the war and what happened at the aircraft base that he was at, and he ends up having a additional family that he's trying to take care of, and he has a new side job as the sea mine diffuser. Because America put over like a bunch of freaking sea mines in their oceans to stop like boats and everything from coming out of Japan's ports. So he's under clearing that up, and meanwhile Godzilla is starting to attack Japan. And basically, it's just the movie is basically at the end it's just them trying to kill Godzilla with an elaborate plan of sinking him and basically having his body just kill himself, but he ends up saving the day with his own doing his original job, being a kamikaze pilot and blowing the fuck out of Godzilla's head
without
with a plane.
Without taking the hit.
I'm trying not to do so much of a spoiler, but I have to be. Like, it's just trying to make it simple and quick.
Godzilla Minus One's been out for a little while, so, a full spoiler warning is in effect.
Yeah, we should have said that.
I apologize.
But no, it's just... No, but this movie, the way I did it doesn't give it 100% justice. This whole movie is a masterpiece of how much they've done a human storyline for once. Mixing with this monstrosity of a freaking this creature. And it's nuts. I never thought we'd actually get a real human storyline with this, like, Godzilla, with anything Godzilla. Even, like, Legendary doesn't do it right. And Monarch actually is doing at least decent, actually, for once. But this is actually, what the fuck?
Yeah. I have to say the human element was just as enthralling as Godzilla himself. Because, for me, I know bits of Godzilla from what you've told me, obviously, Crispy.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have an aunt who's a huge Trekkie. Shout out to my aunt. I'm not gonna drop any names.
Keep plugging.
But I digress. For me, this movie did such, like I said, not only a great job with the human aspect, but really going back to the basics of what, Godzilla is, which is a force of nature pissed off that humans are destroying itself.
Well, in this case, it's such a weird way of going with, like, this Godzilla, because Godzilla is basically from, like, the beginning. Jimmy, correct me if I get anything wrong.
Really?
Godzilla is, like, basically... It's a walking nuclear reactor that was created accidentally by America by dropping the nuclear bomb. And they showed that off in this, too. And basically, it's showing... It's a telling of showing off, like, the dangers, like, what actually happened, like... What it felt like to have the nuclear bombs dropped on Japan. Like, it was just like... It was like a different... Like, it's like what's it called? Similar... What's it? Jimmy, can you help me out with that? What's it called?
Trying to follow you on this one.
Yeah. It's, God dang it. Why am I having an issue with this word? Similarity... Not similarity,
Synonym.
Singularity?
No, I wouldn't say singularity. Damn it. Why am I
lost your train of thought?
No, I'm sorry.
Lost the flow. No,
Oh god. But it's basically just, like, showing, like, they're telling of, like, it's a way of... Oh, wow. I'm broken.
Hyperbole?
No, not hyperbole.
A synonym?
Synonym.
Synonym.
Oh, synonym. I don't know that one. For some reason.
Sonic.
A sonnet? Serenade?
Serenade. Yes,
Sonata.
there we go. No, it's like there's. Wow, I'm having an issue, but I wish I wasn't broken. I wish I was never broken with this.
Damn it, out with you, man!
I'm trying. It's like they're. God damn. Why am I broken? I am literally broken. I'm like drawing this out for too long for no reason.
All right, why don't you
God
start
damn
back
it.
to what you were rewinding
Getting
a quick
at,
second?
right?
Yeah, then
It's
maybe I
because
can
of
help you.
Minecraft.
It's because you need to stop
It's
playing Minecraft.
I can't.
Jimmy, stop playing Minecraft and do your
I'm the one
homework.
showing the pictures.
The pretty pictures.
But like it's like what's it called? It was their it's like they were trying to like show what like the like in like a different telling like of like a different way of showing off like the disaster of like basically the atom bombs basically dropping on Japan by using this creature, the showing off like that like the danger like not dangers like the havoc it happened like it caused in a different way. But like in this one it's like ooh, it's like it's a weird way of doing it because like it's like they didn't like I don't know, it didn't feel like the same way the original did it because the original Godzilla flowed like so much of a different direction than how they did with minus one. You know? Like it's like minus like it was like a different build up. Right? Like how you guys feel about that with like the original to this reboot of minus one?
It definitely did have a different build up because, oh god, I can't remember if it was the scientists who came in the original Godzilla, but I want to say it was. And in this one, we see a man, obviously fearful for his life, being told, hey, for the greater good of our country, go out here and kill yourself in something that you know and understand. I would assume very little,
Mm-hmm.
considering he would just have the orders given to him and he'd have to execute them.
Didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I think it was definitely a great social commentary because, especially like in the in the states and whatnot, it's like we
Oh
never
yeah, we're doing
get to
brick.
learn or think or hear about what was the Japanese people's perspective on all of this stuff. Like,
That's
No.
very
is
true.
Yeah, we
yeah,
never
because
ever.
yeah, no, because I mean, especially you think about it. Even go to video game stuff like Call of Duty. Going back Medal of Honor back in the day, and
Oh,
those
it's always our
documentaries. It's like
perspective.
yeah, it's like Japanese like this like such a like negative view on its people for doing this, and it's like they never stop and like say, hey, well, how were the people? How did they react to this? How did this affect them being asked to do these things?
That's very true. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the more empathetic part that just kept me so attached and drawn in for the entirety of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like for me, I like it when I can at least relate to, the characters on screen at a
Mm-hmm.
base level and then
Mm-hmm.
just kind of go up and down from there. Like the pilot, I'm like, I was agreeing with him, he's essentially just a kid, a very young adult, and you're being told to end your life before you start it. And then on the same side of it, he's been drafted into the military, and so you have your sense of duty to your country to where you must also honor it as well. And so he's having this conflict of self-preservation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you even see the people's point of view change. It's like when he comes back and they realize that he didn't, have a
Yeah.
successful kamikaze mission. They blame him, they ostracize him, but then as time moves on a little bit, and also you see other soldiers, it's like, no, that wasn't okay. We're not okay with this, and
Hmm.
that no, your life is valuable, and the fact that like the people's frustration with the government and how it
Yeah,
handled well, I guess you say the war campaign and after, which is something I'd like to hear more about. Like if that's like, I don't know as much about that. I'm like, I'd be curious to see if that was like the true
Uh,
sentimentality. I don't know if that's the right word
hmm.
I
for
think
of it.
sentimentality would be the right way to go about saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to get that perspective.
No, I agree 100%. Crispy, I know you're dying to get in here. I just want to say this one quick thing.
Oh, I died.
But
That's a weird new location.
definitely seeing the perspective of everyone who lost everything and had to build up from nothing was very, I don't want to say humanizing, but I suppose you could say it was very, you know, eye-opening because as, you both said, we've never gotten to see the perspective of, and I don't want to say, the loser, of the war, but the victims who didn't ask for the war would
Yeah.
I would want to say is the better way to go about it. Because when the soldier goes back home and he sees his parents are dead, his house is gone, and
Mm-hmm.
his one neighbor, yes, in the beginning she did ostracize him, but then after she realized, you you know, he's still a person himself who has his own choices in life to live, and I can't take my frustrations out on him for something he has no control over. Because,
Hmm.
say he did go out and complete his kamikaze mission, that wasn't going to stop the bomb from dropping. That wasn't going
No.
to stop
Mm.
her family from being, potentially vaporized and, taken away.
Well, like, how do I explain? Like, it's weird. Like the way that they were going about it was like he could have been that change. He could have been like he could have said a different
Right.
course and all that other stuff if he
Yeah.
actually succeeded with his mission. But in true history, we knew that that wasn't going to happen. We dropped
Right.
the bomb
Yeah.
and all
Essentially,
that
the whole
junk.
country was going through stages of grief.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it just didn't.
Rightfully so. But
Yeah,
Oh, without question, dude.
I
but
know.
like other than like it's just like no, it's just like oh god, and like what is so like in like what's it called? I remember like in the original Godzilla, like they try to use Godzilla as like I was trying to say before, like basically like the this like what like the fallout and everything like that, and he's just basically this thing that's just destroying shit. And in this one, they take another perspective, also like a different perspective, like how he just a creature that pre-exists that is like a what's it called? He's a like he's already a creature, like it's like a legend of this one
Hmm.
island. And in the original, that's how it goes also in a way that there's this creature on this island, this giant like lizard like sea monster, and he's basically wreaking havoc on the island, and he ends up making his way over to Japan, Tokyo and everything, and attacking. But like in this one, they don't. In the original one, they have him as Godzilla already, and in
Hmm.
this one, they have him at a more prehistoric state. That we meet him at the island in the what's it called the at the aircraft base where they can repair all the kamikaze planes, or any aircraft that needs to be repaired. And he's a prehistoric creature like dinosaur. He's more dinosaur than
Yeah.
actually Godzilla
T-Rexy.
for once. Yeah, and it kind of made me happy when I actually saw that because I never thought anybody was going to go back to Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla, not Mecha, Mecha King Ghidorah, and do this whole thing because they had the what's it called? They had a T Rex form of Godzilla in that movie, and he actually saves the Japanese military unit on the island from the American military unit that's on the island trying to stop the Japanese. And the Godzilla T Rex form kills all the Americans, but he gets shot up so much that he ends up passing away in a sorts. But there's this like future people that take him and move him to another location underwater, but he still gets affected by radiation, and he ends up becoming Godzilla that we know him as in that
Huh.
the Heisei style in the Heisei universe. And in this one, he's on the island already as a dinosaur, and he attacks everybody because he wasn't really gonna technically he was just snooping around, and then they started making all the noise and the commotion, and he reacted and just started destroying shit.
Like, no.
Yeah, and then after that, the bomb drops near his island that he's living on, and he becomes Godzilla after the bomb drops. So, like, it's a different telling of it, but it still works for me. I'm still waiting for a figure for that version of him.
Oh, you and me both.
I want that version too. Like,
I like how much it's like the original, but they've just upgraded details for it.
oh yeah, no, it's,
Yes.
And it's I like how primal they really made him look. They really wanted to extend the fact that he's a force of nature and he's as old as, how, crocodiles, sharks, the parts of the ocean we're not meant to see. I'm not going to say my feelings on that, but we all know what I'm talking about.
no, I get you, but like, there's like the jump further into like the movie. We're at the point where I would say, like, I'm going to go towards the point because I just want to talk about more Godzilla than the human stuff. But the human stuff is really interesting as hell, too. But I just want to get to this other part where the main character, he's working with the team that's the doctor, the captain, and the kid. And they're on the freaking, the wooden boat, and they're defusing the bombs. And they find out Godzilla's a thing now. And Godzilla's chasing him. It just gave me such good, like, these vibes from watching that scene because, like, I've never thought I'd be seeing such a well-detailed Godzilla chasing after a boat and giving me Jaws vibes at the same time. And it's freaking great. And watching him take a fucking, like, a sea mine in the mouth,
nothing.
like, he literally gets popped and he dies. And then he regenerates in 2 seconds, like in seconds, and comes back and says, "I'm back on my mission, bitch."
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those I absolutely loved. Mm-hmm.
Until like I think it's the Japanese military Navy show up and start freaking firing rounds into him. Oh god, that was such a good scene.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I really do love the fact that Godzilla, like, he was taking damage. Like, he was...
He was not impervious.
No.
And that's something that I've enjoyed. And not because I enjoyed seeing the fact that, oh, he's, a Goliath that can be hurt. But it was... for me, it's more so the fact that, a sea mine was able to do how much damage to his face and whatnot.
It took out a good, like, percentage of his face. Like, his whole, like, what was it? His his left eye, his left eye and his upper jaw were gone.
Yeah. Like, they were completely obliterated.
Yeah.
He got wrecked.
And, like, showing that, all that happening and stuff, was like really neat and seeing him regenerate, like including I liked how this model of Godzilla is like we've been seeing him get bigger and bigger and bigger in every other movie, and like I'm happy that we actually had a Godzilla that was just as big as a skyscraper, like a building, like a 12-story building, nothing crazy. Like, yeah, he's actually able to, like, I'm in the city destroying things, and says, I'm towering over these buildings for no reason. Like, it makes sense for, like, that time period where nothing was like, cities weren't overgrown, like, grown cities. Nothing was, like, super tall, and it fit right. If I had a Godzilla maybe, like, what's it called? Like twice the size of that? Not even twice the size. Like about another 50 feet, maybe like 100 feet taller, almost. Like it felt like with everybody else, I would not be happy. Like Legendary's Godzilla, I would not be happy if we had Legendary's Godzilla in that universe right there, like that height, or even Shin Godzilla
in general.
No, it's just like it doesn't like this. They did proper scaling for this Godzilla, and the movement for him is proper. For me, it felt right because large creatures move slow, but when he had to do damage and move a little bit like fast enough, he had the momentum.
He was there.
Yeah, he did the things he had to do. Like, oh god, like, okay, let's jump right into Atomic Breath. This is my favorite one.
I was waiting for you.
This
to
is my favorite one.
Is my favorite one.
They call it his heat ray. It's not atomic breath in this one because nobody knew what the fuck it is. But I was me and our friend Steve and my dad went and saw it again, and I was reading the subtitles again, like with it, and I noticed they said heat ray this time. I don't know if that was a translation or that's what they were going with this one because no one understood the creature at that point. So I'm like, all right, I get it. They're just probably just gonna call it a heat ray. But like, yeah, no, he's a railgun. He loads up, his spines come out, and then when he's ready, and he's inhaling air too at the same time, and then when he's ready, he just slaps it all back in and fires. And just nukes a fucking zone. When he took out that freaking first ship was so satisfying that when you first get a glimpse.
Dude, that was nuts.
And then he comes out of the water and you see that I like that that's a thing. His own atomic breath does damage to himself.
Yeah,
yes,
for
one,
one,
not impervious to it.
No, because all the other movies we have, like the later movies from the original, because the original one was more like a fire breath, and then it started evolving into his laser beam, and the laser beam never did anything to himself, or like it just was a constant. He never had an off for it either. Like he just stopped doing it, and like in this one, like he loads it, fires it, and that's all you get. And he does he gets severe damage to his own face and body from unleashing that much nuclear radiation from himself. And it's really satisfying.
I also liked visually how his atomic breath looked the most out of all of them, because this time it straight up, was in everybody's face. Yeah, his atomic breath has always supposed to be, an atomic bomb. Just, he's able to do it on his own. Mm-hmm. And the fact of how fast his charge up for it was to wherever he was looking at, it was pinpoint accuracy. It's blown the freak away.
Oh yeah, no, it's just what they did with what this director did with this Godzilla. I've been waiting for somebody to do something like this with Godzilla for a really long time, and this guy did it, and I'm happy. This guy, I can't pronounce his name. I'm gonna butcher if I try to. I'm not even gonna try.
But we would like to shout out every single person involved in this.
Yes, but the director, a couple years back, he did a rough with design of this Godzilla. He made a short and everything, and then he got the agreement with Toho, and he took that model and polished it up and made this creature. And I'm not gonna lie, we didn't even drop how much this budget of a movie was. Like the budget for American dollar is $15 million.
It's nothing.
$15 million.
It's a very low budget movie, but compared to the majority of other high budget films that have released for the last few years, this has been absolutely a fantastic piece of cinema to just watch and enjoy.
Yeah, it's well done. Character, script writing was awesome. Actors and actresses were amazing in it. It just felt right for one. For once, and like you felt like it was actually taken care of instead of like all these other Hollywood movies. And it's where it's, oh, you shit out another movie, it's gonna do decent. And like this one just felt like it was just like we put our time into it.
Out.
It's our baby. We loved it, and everyone's giving. Even non-Godzilla fans are giving this like great ratings, and it makes me happy seeing that. But I remember I did see that the director said if this movie continues to get great reviews and publicity, he will be happy to direct a second Godzilla movie.
I wouldn't mind if he
Godzilla
did a second
at this
one.
point. I want a continuation, like at this
So,
point.
like, yeah, like it's like the thing is like the word
I think
like
that's the issue with Godzilla at this point with Toho actually is like whereas as much as I dislike Legendary Pictures, at least they're creating a continuity where with Toho Godzilla is just kind of like there
everywhere.
is forms of continuity, but mostly it's just oh hey here's Japan or someplace, oh look there's the Godzilla, and oh here's the bad guy, and then it's like nothing happened and we're at rinse and repeat.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
very
think,
freak of the week.
Yeah, which is this where I think especially with the characters, the story, even if they don't necessarily like harp on the same characters continually, as if we could just have a consistent universe that basically piggybacks off minus one, I think that it could go from being an amazing film to like really making Godzilla a staple in monster cinema like in the modern day.
Yeah, but like the thing is like if I would say if they're gonna go off from a second one, there'll be Godzilla Raids again. It'd be literally they go right down the list because that's the next movie for Godzilla, and then that's when we establish Anguirus, and that becoming I would say I still haven't properly seen that one actually. But I'm not gonna lie, it's on my list for some reason. I have never touched it. I know it's on, I believe Max actually, to watch. But like Anguirus is like in this movie, and it ends up like screwing up Godzilla, and they end up having their fight. So I'm like waiting for them to bring in Anguirus as basically another like what's it called, like kind of like legendary creature that's been like lurking around, that's like basically stories been told about like this spiked backed like four-legged creature roaming in some location in Japan, and he ends up screwing up Godzilla's like one raid he does for this like again, and like that's what happens, and then this becomes a constant battle at one point. Like that's what I kind of want, but an actual like story like what we just have with this one that runs with it. At least like something that we can have like if they're going down the route of rebooting basically the first like from the beginning, let's just go right down the line and just go with it. And we're not going to touch Godzilla versus King Kong, okay? We're not going to touch that again. Okay, Jerry, let's just talk about that original one. King Kong's an ape that can't really swim. He's in the ocean when they end that battle. That motherfucker drowned. He drowned.
I want to know.
No drown. Swim good.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn you.
That's what I want to know.
What?
His happy juice in those jars.
Oh, that was just pure wine.
He just breaks the pot.
I know that was so. I'm not gonna lie, so terrible. What does Steve do in this nether? Oh my god, I haven't been here in a bit. No, but like, okay, so guys, so the plane, the plane they use at the end of the. Oh my good god, the plane they did at the end of the movie, they use at the end of the movie. Do you guys think that's a real plane, or you think it's a fake plane they used for the movie?
Something that was based on a real plane.
Okay, Jimmy.
Because it definitely has some elements, from old fighter planes like that.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Ask that one more time. I was getting murdered by this horse.
Oh God, they got the disgusting crap over there, Jerry. Don't go near that. Oh, they got it everywhere, actually. So, Jimmy, the plane they use, I'm like right over here by the piglin that we have trapped.
I see.
I asked if it was a real plane.
Yeah, you think that's a real plane or not?
I mean, I don't. Not, as far as I know, not the one that they made.
That one at the end? You don't think it's a real plane?
I don't think so.
Okay, it actually is.
Woo!
Yeah, I was going to say, if it wasn't, I would be very surprised.
So when we were watching it for the second time, my dad actually said to me, he's like, "Is that? I want to know if that's a real plane or not. I really want to know." It finds out it's a real plane, but they only made 2 prototypes, and they asked 2 companies to build. One company to build 30 of them. One company to build 1,020, I think 28 of them. I got off Wikipedia here. The thing that plane ran off 18-cylinder engine, super turbo engine. Oh. Yeah, it had 3 flights. So the first flight went okay. They wanted to figure out what happened, how it went. They didn't stay that long in the air. Finds out they got the top speed almost. It drifted too much to starboard side of the plane. And then the other 2 flights only lasted for 45 minutes in the air. So imagine how much. It's not bad, but just imagine how much gas is just killing up there, like just flying a 18-cylinder fucking engine. Well, I understand why it didn't last longer. I understand why it didn't last long up there. It
lasted at all.
Yeah, so basically at the rate, but like the other plane, none of the planes saw battle. Like they never saw the war. This plane was invented for World War II. It had a 6-blade propeller instead of the standard 4, and it never saw battle. Nothing. That basically after World War II, it got basically dropped, and like nobody's seen it. So technically, the one in our movie that we saw is one of the 2 prototypes. Or dug up. That's why he said, I didn't think this was a real plane. Like he didn't really think it was a real thing until he got there. Like, and he looked right at it. Like it was such a mysterious freaking thing.
What better way to bring it in than with Godzilla?
Yeah, true. And like it's like that plane, like it's. They actually, I'm like not gonna lie, I kind of wish they to make the movie more realistic. They should have made the plane drift to the freaking starboard side. No,
it's not complicated.
Oh yeah, just set it up for failure.
Yeah, I know. But like no, how they did everything, including like that plane wasn't in the movie. The plane's not rigged to have a ejector seat at all, and the mechanic.
I want to know how they
one.
actually made that. How they would make that modification? Because you need a pretty fair amount of space, from what I remember.
You need plot.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. They probably did have an ejector seat, but if they were gonna use it for a cosmic, now I'm broken.
They probably uninstall it if they.
Yeah, they just stopped, disabled it. Yeah, they probably disabled it.
Took the parts out because you wouldn't. That'd be just a waste of finances.
Well, true, but I would assume a lot of those planes are at that. Well, technically, that's a prototype. They wouldn't even probably. Well, I think they would actually. I think that one will. That one was supposed to have in the movie. They stated that plane. No, come back. Oh, I think I lost my freaking. No, there's. No, I think in the movie they stated they had 4 guns on that thing, so I wouldn't assume it would be like a kamikaze plane. It'd be just a fighter jet at that point.
It's probably
Um.
meant for really quick, snappy attacks, like
Oh yeah,
basically
probably
a
like a
Rambo.
hit
stealth
and run
bomber
tactics.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
now that you mention it, that does sound about right.
so I can
Especially for the kind of
assume.
speed that thing would produce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd assume they would have an ejector seat built into that one, actually, just to save their pilot. But like, if the prototype never got finished, if that plane never got finished as a prototype, then I understand that that ejector seat wouldn't probably be rigged. It would probably be installed, but it wouldn't really be 100% ready to go.
I mean, yeah, if at all, like, who
If at
knows?
all, yeah.
Yeah, they did. They even said in the movie they had to do a lot of like rigging
Yeah.
that thing back together again.
Well, yeah, they messed around with a ton of what you that's yeah, because I think they were taking parts from other planes, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
They're kind of
believe so, yes.
Frankensteining it together.
Yeah, and like I think they took away 2 of the guns to add the bomb he wanted in it.
Yep.
And yeah, they did a lot of here and there modifications to make sure it ran. Oh god, that I just feel like I'm not gonna lie, that propeller in the back does not feel right to me. It just
Now,
seeing it
I
like
have
seeing
a quick
pictures of it
question.
from Google, from Instagram, from Google and like Wiki. I'm not gonna lie, I would never believe that would be a real plane if I didn't see actual photos.
Thinking on it, I have seen planes with that design, just not a Japanese plane.
Well, I saw different planes where they had like a weird like a tail attached to the back that block like that foot like it goes right in front of the blades, like a couple feet in like in front of it. But like other than that, it just to me I didn't see anything else.
I mean, essentially, you just reverse the propellers as opposed to pull it pushes.
Yeah,
It's a really crappy jet engine.
it'd be like a fan boat,
Yeah, big,
giant
weird
fan.
looking fan boat.
Yeah.
Flappy jet engine.
Oh god.
Flappy jet. There we go. There's the new
Now-
mobile game for 2025.
Oh no.
I want to ask how you guys feel about the ending scene with the kamikaze pilot and essentially the random lady that he decided to end up, spending the rest of his days with. How do you guys feel about, obviously she got caught up in Godzilla's atomic blast and, she's severely disfigured and, whatnot.
All right. Well, I'm calling bullshit on her being
No,
alive.
I'm off of Jimmy on that
Yeah,
one
'cause
too.
I was going to say,
Yeah, no.
she should be
Dead.
absolutely dead.
God.
Dead.
Yeah, she got
Like,
carried
that's
away.
the really only complaint I have is there's no way that, like, an 110-pound woman could survive any kind of blast.
Not gonna lie, she probably later than that.
Weird.
No,
I guess
she-
whatever the excuse is probably related to her infection.
Yeah, she has that weird infection on her neck that we
corruption?
had now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird to say because it's like she's linked to Godzilla, so
We got a
it's
Gamera.
almost like so
We
long
got a
as
Gamera.
Godzilla is alive, she'll live. Almost like she's gonna be a prophet for Godzilla.
I
As
feel like it's like a
voice.
host thing, but like, but the
Profilla.
thing is, it wouldn't be that way. It would be more like, I hate to say it, that's more like a Mothra thing, because you always have the 2 twin ladies, doing
See,
the
and I
whole
was
summoning
thinking
of
that.
Mothra, but you don't have unless we find out she has a twin, we'll never know. Right now, she's
Just a
just
twin.
she doesn't have a twin.
Yeah, she's gonna bud. Just
But,
another
like-
she's gonna like pop off.
It'd be weird to have a Godzilla host person, like
Yeah.
hanging out, but like,
Yeah,
Because if they do that, it reminds me too much of the Kong cartoon, where like they
Which-
could put him in the what is it? It was like a little Bluetooth earpiece.
and that's from what Kong? Which one?
Kong the animated series.
Okay, not the Netflix thing, right?
No, this came out
Okay.
when we were still kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. God, I haven't
That's
seen
the
that in a
one.
bit. Oh, jeez.
But would that not be a really similar thing to do?
In a way,
that point-
yeah. But like, It just gives me more. If you're gonna go with the whole Godzilla being like and like hanging like it needs a human thing, it kind of gives me more of the newer Heisei Gamera lifestyle because Gamera like ends up connecting to certain humans, and if Gamera gets hurt, the human gets hurt. They end up sharing like they have like a thing like a wavelength they're on and stuff they were doing for that, and that's what it's giving me. What we keep talking about is that, but I just feel like it's something. I don't know. It feels like it's something else, but I don't have a like. But at the same time, I don't have like my feeling of her coming back is low, or she's gonna be an older woman after that, like an older lady, in like later years.
Because it's like, I don't know. And the thing is, we only see her, which obviously I'm sure they don't want to give too much away, but it's like, how many other people were infected? Is this supposed to be...
That's another factor.
Is it supposed to be like a curse? Is it, just aftermath damage? Like, what? My question is, what is going to be her role? Because it's obviously going to be something. Whether it's major or minor.
No, it's going to be crazy, something crazy or some dumb shit. But, like, it's going to be well done, maybe, possibility, but, like, it's just what is going to be next with it? I don't know.
It's hard to tell you because
they don't give us anything.
Again, no, and they don't, and, we're not used to consistency with Toho, so it's kind of... It's really hard to gauge, and where it's like, I'm really excited, but also kind of nervous, because... they have to be very smart about it, because if they pulled this whole new audience in, and then if they just kind of go left field, doing what they've been doing for the last
50,
50-ish years, it's kind of like gonna put a lot of people off. And also,
70 years actually.
Oh, it's 70.
70. But next year be 70 because the first Godzilla movie came out in 1954, and next year is 2024. 70 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the people who they have, involved with Godzilla right now are trying to not necessarily redefine it, but give him some new shape to his story. Because one thing that I definitely felt a lot of was the sympathy that they put into it for people who had to, obviously commit the war crimes, who had to be the kamikazes, and had to be, those frontline, pilots, Navy men, what have you.
No, it definitely went to humanize the soldiers because, so much, spoil goes to the victor, so, whoever lost feels like they're villainized. And, and that's the thing too, is it's the first Godzilla, I should take that back. Outside of, what the original Godzilla had done, it's the first one that really, have a message, a genuine message to give, that was worthwhile, without just being, monster mayhem, which is amazing and fun in its own right, but, it gives you that extra layer to hold on to, like we were saying before. But man, honestly, I get really conflicted when thinking about how much I like this one versus Shin Godzilla. I get really stuck.
What is there to get stuck on, Jimmy?
Feel you on that. And for me, it's as a Godzilla... Now, I'm not going to say as a big Godzilla fan, but as an enjoyer of all the movies that I have been able to watch, this is definitely something that was very homey for me, because it did remind me so much of the old Godzilla movies.
Yes.
And that's what I loved a lot of. It took me back to, just a young kid watching... a great movie. And I know I don't want to get too much into it because it's another bonus episode that I'm saving for after the new year. But it's also, in my opinion, one of the first few movies in quite a while that just felt complete.
Oh
You
no,
know?
it gave us it literally gave us
It gave
everything
us a
we
proper
needed.
beginning, a
Yep.
great, exposition, and the conclusion was, I thought it could have been a little bit different, but I don't hate it. I wouldn't change it. I just thought I would switch up a few things, but that's me personally, though.
I'm just trying to remember the first one, the original one, to this one, because the original one, well, no, the original one was the news guy gets hurt, and then if we're going for the American edition of it, news guy gets hurt, he ends up going to the hospital and shit. Then you got the doctor and his fiance, and the fiance ends up getting, what's it called? She ends up watching him, basically witnessing him basically kill himself later on. In a way, yeah, it's a different toll of like what we actually get of an ending. So yeah, because if anything, the scientists in this one, I like that they actually did science and actually came up with like certain things and started trying to do stuff instead of just automatically saying we have a hydrogen bomb.
They had some ideas.
We have something. Yeah, they had like these ideas and they want to wing it and see what happens because they knew how the pressure of the ocean actually would do what it would do to the body, and then if that failed, they're gonna send them back up out of the ocean, and the pressure coming back up would do something to your body as well. They had two different plans with pressure of the ocean and everything doing something to his body, so like it was neat seeing it, and I was just waiting for like the part when when they're talking about the whole sinking him to the ocean with the adding air to the water and then sinking him, and then when someone says that fails, I was waiting for them to go out the window and they just had the hydrogen bomb just sitting there outside the window.
What I thought they were gonna say it.
And I was like, then I was not expecting them to bring out the fucking giant, like, what's it called? The giant airbags that they had, like, for whenever you jump, like, I believe, like, jumping out, like, buildings and stuff they had those for. But, going back, I wanted to backtrack a quick second to, the girlfriend slash, love interest, well, like, whatever she is, technically, yeah, she's a love interest in the movie. When they kind of brought her back to life in a way, Chris. Okay, so my uncle Chris was with me, Jimmy, and we had a pack of people. We went to the IMAX and saw this movie, and I remember my uncle Chris with me, and he literally just turned at me and my aunt and said, "If she's back, she's gonna be really broken." And me and my aunt are just laughing at him because of that statement, and we're just like, oh my god, well, yeah, he's not wrong. She should be fucked up.
I know. Well, like as soon as it blast went off, I turned to my friend and I was just like, yeah, she kind of got carried away with the plot.
Yeah, no, she's gone. Oh God.
Yeah, she just.
You and Scott were going back and forth with that. Oh, I heard you guys doing your thing over there.
And you know something else, Jimmy?
What?
Quite frankly, I don't give a damn. She got carried with the wind.
Oh God.
That's a cinema joke, people. Gone with the Wind was the first time anyone heard a swear word on cinema.
Oh God, no! I was definitely waiting for the hydrogen bomb to actually do show up in this movie, but I was happy that they never brought back the hydrogen bomb. They used a bomb, but they didn't use the hydrogen bomb. Watching Godzilla at the end of the movie, we have the kamikaze pilot fly into Godzilla's mouth while he's loading up an atomic breath and blows off the roof of his head. Not gonna lie, when after I saw that for the second time, me and my dad kind of agree to it. The way he like stands still there and just waits for his body to disintegrate from his atomic breath. They gave me two different vibes because you had another Godzilla movie where they end up drilling holes into Godzilla with this certain robot, and he ends up having a giant hole that's in his like next to his collarbone, where he kept on shooting out like the atomic breath out of that hole instead of adding actually coming out of his mouth. So he was actually taking some damage from his own atomic breath. I want to say that was the 19. No, that was 1984. That was it was something else. It's Legendary Creatures or something, and he ends up fighting King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Baragon. Godzilla wrecks him out of the. Yeah, he destroys him, but like you end up having those three monsters as legendary creatures, and King Ghidorah is actually on our side, not actually trying to kill us. Godzilla's more of the force of nature in this one, and they end up having this. Yeah, and he ends up like doing like actually he was like a derpy freaking King Ghidorah. He's more just Ghidorah at this point. He's just derpy. Then he becomes an actual evolves into King Ghidorah in the movie and helps take down Godzilla. But there's that one moment that kind of gave me that vibe where he's like having the whole like atomic breath shooting out of his body, and then witnessing his head removed gave me the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the first one, where Godzilla just fucking snaps his head off, the roof of his head off, and it just sits there. And I'm just like, oh my god, I just realized that more now. That gives me more of that. And I'm like, huh, nice. But watching him disintegrate was like a kind of satisfying as well.
Oh,
it was neat.
Extremely.
Instead of him just blowing up, like just blowing up the ocean, just watching his body just decay from the excessive radiation leaking out of him, and because he can't do it, like release it and all that stuff, it just dug its way through his body and it's just nuking in the middle of the ocean. And it was a neat. Oh God, we never talked about it. Like another thing, they actually freaking like noticed that Godzilla's radioactive, even technically prior to him turning into Godzilla, he's radioactive, and before and after he's been nuked, and the freaking fish all freaking just like die and go belly up whenever he's around.
I did forget about that.
No, actually, I have a question, Mateo.
Yeah.
When you saw it out of IMAX, was it?
Oh, you want to talk about the roar?
Well, besides the roar,
okay.
Was it easier to see the fish?
Which part? Which part of the fish? Moments.
Because the only issue I had with seeing it in IMAX was that there's so much motion judder. Like it was.
No,
like,
it's just. It was a little bit more. It was a little
bit easier.
It's a little bit easier in the eyes. So like Jerry, so like from the IMAX one, it was like we had a big enough screen. I was still able to see the fucking fish. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fine with the fishies, but definitely seeing it in the standard Regal, the ones that float up right before the beginning. They're still. It's more the timing of the day of that part. They kind of just still look weird, but they're there though. But later in the movie, when you get the whole freaking ocean of fish, that's when it's like you get to see it more. But due to the budget and how much money they had towards CGI, they mostly focused it on more on Godzilla than anything else. And I'm not picky on fucking dead fish being animated properly. So, like, I'm fine with whatever they gave me there.
Yeah, it was just blurry.
So,
I was just,
it's
like
like,
so
no,
curious,
it's...
It was
It's
weird.
Like
So I was like,
it's
it
where you
was
can.
blurry.
No, it
'Cause I
was no, it
also
is
saw it in
blurry. No,
standard, but it's like you can make out, some type of features on it.
yeah, like
yeah, 'cause I
I'm
remember
not gonna
looking at it when
nitpick
they
on
first
that.
popped up, and I'm like, the hell is that supposed to be?
No, I'm not gonna be nitpicky on the fishies.
Oh no.
Definitely not, because it gave me everything else I needed. The CGI for
Oh yeah.
Godzilla is amazing. At all the points that we need them to be
Yeah.
You
at.
know what his CGI reminded me of? And
What?
I know this is very like left field, but it reminded me of Davy Jones CGI from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ooh, the
Huh.
realistic style you're talking
Yeah,
about?
like
How
just how
realistic the
realistic it
texture?
looks. But it's
The
like obviously
textures,
you know
yeah.
it's CGI, but they put in enough effort to try to, mask it as much as physically possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's no. They definitely did a lot of CGI work with him, giving him the right textures, and keeping him to the Godzilla look instead of going left field with him like everything else in the last few years. Um, yeah, like it's no, they did a great job with this one, but they gave him more spikes. I will say that they gave him more spikies. But I've
They
been
did.
seeing a what's it called? A figurine of like somebody made up for him that was, I believe it is I don't know. I don't no, it's not. I don't think it's a Toho product, but it's somebody like a fan, like a figure. It's definitely allowed. It's allowed figure to be sold, and he has a lot of spikes on him. A lot of spikes. And I was been waiting for actually someone to use that like style, and we kind of got close to it. But that one was more. How do I explain it? Oh my god, this place got destroyed by freaking creepers. But like they used the right amount of spikes for this one. They weren't, but the one that I'm thinking of, it's more mobile. He's kind of like mixed between. I want to say the Millennium style Godzilla and no, yeah, just yeah. If you took Millennium style Godzilla and just added more spikes to him, you got like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Oh my god, do you have? I have so much gunpowder.
Yeah, I need
Off
all that.
topic.
Thank you.
Oh, you do? What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a plan.
I'm scared of your plans.
But I don't. If you guys are fine with it, do you want to go ahead and just kind of wrap things on up
Yeah, I'm
with
fine.
final thoughts?
Sure. Does anyone who wants to start first?
I'll go first if nobody else minds.
Yeah. Go for it.
Who?
It, I, and I don't want to say this to come off as I'm fangirling or I'm just swooning over Godzilla. Legitimately, and Crispy, me and you have talked about it. The
Mm-hmm.
only other movie I felt like this strongly about is as far as entertainment, enjoyment, the cinematography, the actors, all the fun tidbits, all the sad ones was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
for this one, it was especially refreshing because it's a foreign film, which Godzilla comes from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so long since I've watched one. I forget the emotion that foreign actors put into their roles that we just don't see here in the States. And
Yeah, we're
then it just
basic.
reminded me again, like, whoa, there's a whole nother side of cinema that I've still will never be able to see because it take multiple lifetimes to watch all of those movies. But I digress. This movie, I would say, to end out the year and have a really solid Godzilla film was an absolute just fantastic thing we could have gotten. I think this movie is a very good 9 out of 10. I plan to buy the Blu-ray for this. I'd like to see some of the behind the scenes commentary from directors and cast members and also some of the camera shots for when they're over the ocean.
CGI, my friend. All CGI. In a boat, in a what's it called? In a pool.
Tugboat.
Yes.
Tugga.
Oh
But
god.
the floor is open. Crispy Jimmy.
Doesn't matter to me. Jimmy, you want to go or you want me to go?
I was gonna say, doesn't matter to me. Um, yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. Like I walked out of it being confused, and I still kind of am, and not because in any bad way. It's that it delivered on a way that Godzilla has never delivered before, and I was expecting it to be good, but not to this quality, to this caliber. So like I'm still kind of in shock from like that was a Godzilla film. And that was like a legitimate film. That wasn't just like I'm going for my daily dose of monster fun. No, I went and I saw art right here. Like that definitely got me excited and like I don't know. Like I've been so stuck and torn with myself because I know most people don't. It's not they. Actually, I feel like a lot of people don't like Shin Godzilla, and like I understand why. Because going back and it's really bizarre to see where I don't know how. Like when it came out, I must have just ignored it. How
um,
bizarre Godzilla looks in that, and how wonky like the animation for him is.
oh, it's
Like when I
terrible.
rewatch parts of it, I'm like, I thought I was watching like a fan recreation for a minute.
No,
I
it's
was really
bad.
confused. Yeah, and I'm like,
It's bad.
oh my goodness. And then seeing this Godzilla was like night and day.
No,
Though I
it's
will say the only thing I got slightly disappointed, not very, but just like very like non amounts of worthwhile about was that since the director does focuses in horror, I was
mhm.
really hoping that we might get a little more towards Shin Godzilla. Because if there's anything from that I wish kind of got brought back, it's that Godzilla, like as wonky as even his transformations were, or if you want to say like, I, when you talk about the Talon Breath, I still think Shin is like I'm stuck between which one's my favorite because
Laser
Godzilla
light
is
show
creepy.
or just a
Yeah,
railgun?
exactly.
I'll go
Because Godzilla
railgun.
is creepy as heck in Shin Godzilla. I love the fact that he's a monster and that he looks deranged, and I love that. And I think that his atomic breath in that one is mortifying. Like Godzilla's like in or geez, minus one. It's just cool. Like it looks phenomenal. Like you're like, oh yeah, like you're ready for it. And then Shin Godzilla, you're just like, it's just terror. You're just watching him charge his, then he gets like the shielding over his eyes, and like it's just destruction incarnate. And I kind of like, I don't know, I did kind of want to see more of that, especially with the horror roots, his horror roots that like maybe he could
Mm,
perfect that. But once again, I am in no way dissatisfied with what we got. Like I will never complain in a way to say this is not the Godzilla I want because we need this needs to be the Godzilla we have and we keep.
we gotta fight legendary.
And yeah, and legendary like they well I see, and that's what I think is interesting is I'm curious how much they were clued in, if at all, because you have because it's so bizarre. You have Godzilla, then King of Monsters, Kong, and then whatever this I forget what the new one is, which I could care less about.
Godzilla X
Right, and
Kong.
it seems like they're just like going just downhill with it, but then you get Monarch, and it's like it
Different
feels like they're
pace.
trying to take a page out of Shin Godzilla, and it's really confusing.
Wait, Shin
And
Godzilla or minus one?
or sorry, minus one. I'm just gonna
It's
my
okay.
brain's just gonna flop them. But yeah, for minus one, where it's like, hey, we can have character. If we have human characters, we actually need to like give them emotions and meaning to be here, other than oh, hey, we threw this celebrity here. You know, enjoy.
You got a problem with
Because
Kurt Russell and his beautiful hair?
no, are you kidding me? He's perfect, perfect for this role. I'm talking about, um, you know,
Everybody
my
else.
yeah. Well, like in the films where you
Yeah,
have
no.
Millie Bobby Brown. There we go. Where it's like she serves no purpose other than to be Millie Bobby Brown in a Godzilla movie. Like she just takes up space that Godzilla could be inhabiting and that plot could be inhabiting. Like it's just let's get these actors on for screen time
Mm-hmm.
to get people into the theater as opposed to being like, well, if we made a movie that had depth, well then people would just want to see it.
No, I totally agree
Minus
with
One
you
is
and
proven.
actually on that one because
Yeah.
literally the whole like Godzilla versus King Kong thing was just like garbage in sorts of a way with humans and how they did everything. Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was just poorly executed. And
Right.
their jokes and any of the commentate like any of the script that they wrote like read off like it just didn't
Right.
feel right. It just felt poor.
Yeah. No, and it's kind of funny because it's one of those things that I mean I guess that's kind of a I guess you could say maybe like it's a sticking point for Godzilla in general, which I'm glad they finally unlocked the formula. It's like Godzilla's always been a people movie with Godzilla in it.
Hmm.
Because a lot of those movies you are, I mean, not all of them, but there are a huge chunk that you are focusing on the people
Oh
more
yeah.
so than Godzilla, you know.
Like recently they put back out Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla 2000. Godzilla
Yeah,
2000 was literally them
Oh man,
tracking
yeah.
down
yeah.
Godzilla and they end up discovering the alien that was underground, I mean underwater,
Hmm.
and they're trying to basically figure out what is Godzilla and what the hell is this giant freaking floating rock thing that they end up finding it's an alien.
Yep.
And that
Yeah,
was
I
like
mean,
all focus on people most of the freaking movie.
yeah, I mean, original Godzilla is really them, people, mostly the people witnessing the horror that is
Yeah.
unfolding around them. You know, Godzilla, Mothra, the reporter, and everybody trying to like fix the world and be like, the government isn't going to take care of us and help protect. No one's going to take
Mhm.
them seriously, so we got to do it. And it focuses on their journey, and you know, which is why like I kind of like for a little while I was in the mindset of like especially with Legendary where I'm like, yeah, no, people should just need to be out of Godzilla, and then I thought about it, I'm like, no, people need to be in it. It's just the reason
Need
they're
better
in it
scripts.
needs to come back,
There's
you know.
there's no story,
Right,
actual story.
which is why I think it went over so well, and then I'll be done. Is kind of hitting off Jerry's point, is that why the legendary ones I don't think they do well is because they get like big actors, they get names, right? With this, there's no real big actors in this movie, at least as far as like internationally. So they're doing their thing. It's not we're getting baseline actor being baseline actor because they're
Hmm.
told, yeah, you're just in this because you're going to sell tickets, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely it makes a huge difference. And I do appreciate what I was thinking about when Jerry was talking about and when I was watching it. Like at first it was taken aback, like especially with that. Usually you see it a lot more in a lot of anime where that over exaggerated voice where they get it's like where high emotions, it's like that high scream, like da da da,
Uh
and I'm like I loved it. Like at once, like for a second where I like it registered in my brain, like it's not a it's not a this is not a Western movie. I was like it works so well, and I loved how the expression, I loved what it gave to the characters, and it's like we can't get that in a legendary Godzilla
no.
film,
No.
you know.
Mm-mm.
Also, if I could just interject one thing, I'm
Absolutely. Oh,
very,
good.
very sorry. I meant to say this. One thing that I absolutely thought was fantastic they did, they kept Godzilla's original music and they
Yes.
didn't change
Ye-
anything.
Mm.
Because usually, whenever they do something like this, they change it up. I still
Ah.
felt the same terror and excitement. Like, oh, is it time? Are we gonna see him do the atomic blast, or is he just gonna wreck
Mhm.
shit? I just
No.
wanted to interject that very quickly. I apologize.
No. The thing is, like,
Mm,
the way you said it was like with the whole changing up a thing. Back to what we've been talking about with Legendary. Legendary changed up that whole design of those songs, and they added more of like a what's it call it, like a tribal like beat to it and everything. Like the drums are different. All of it's like changed up a little bit. I kind of dig it a little bit, but not like the original music is so much better. The sympathy and all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, Jimmy. Remember at IMAX? We had the row of people in front of us. There was this old lady that's just going with it. She was loving it. She was going crazy because she heard that old soundtrack again. Just doing her thing with that
oh,
movie. It was
absolutely.
great.
Yeah, no, it was fascinating to see everybody enjoying what was happening. Like that was,
No, it was 100% amazing.
yeah, no, that was definitely magical.
Oh, so looks like it's up to me now. So
Wrap us up, Godzilla expert.
I'm not the
It
I'm
feels
not.
good to not be an expert in something.
No, no. I'm
All the pressure.
agreeing. Oh God, I agree with like everybody here, and all that stuff. The one thing is like what Jimmy's saying. Like I want to go like piggyback off his like Shin Godzilla thing. The only thing is with the Shin Godzilla Atomic Breath is that I want to just talk about quick. I like the part where he engulfs everything in that napalm gas stuff and then
Oh yeah,
ignites it. I love that. And then it becomes a beam, but everything else is just overdone. Like it just everything else is just didn't need to happen. The laser light show needed no. Yeah, I like the whole build, like the way they designed his atomic breath build up
right.
was neat. But with this one, I love that they try to keep it. They stuck it with the old timeline of being like World War II. Like the original ran off of World War II as the 1950s instead of World War II time period. I liked how they kept it with that. I like that there was like a kind of like a weird like certain like it felt like you were watching something like an old film sometimes with like some of the like design whenever they like try to do next scenery or something like it felt old filmish, not like brand like the digital at some points. It was
Hmm.
kind of nice, but like it was like Jimmy was talking about like actors doing their thing. Like I haven't really seen an actor that on like the western film, not even like from like these new Godzilla movies, perform as good as these actors did. And like it works so well. Like I will if I hear them say I want to do a dubbing of this movie, I am gonna make a petition of like saying no. Because
Yeah.
if they do a dubbing for this movie, it will ruin the movie.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
all of these Japanese actors and actresses
They
put
put
so
so
much
much.
work that I want one of Jerry, you can't sleep. Okay? No sleep for you. No, but like they put so much work into these roles, and it was like a lot of the characters weren't like actually main things, but they were doing so great, and like they were reacting with everything well, and like it made it more realistic instead of like what we got with like Jimmy was saying with like the legend, like the Western style Godzilla ones. We don't get any of it. We get poor script. We get poor actors that are really like headline actors just doing basic bullshit for no reason, but just to get a paycheck. It's just
Hmm.
like it's like it felt nice seeing it, and then having the design of Godzilla, the mayhem, the soundtrack was amazing. It just
Phenomenal score.
I'm
I
not gonna
agree.
lie, I'm gonna be biased. 10 out of 10 out all the way. They did great in my eyes. I loved it. They had Easter eggs I wasn't expecting. And like I didn't think they were gonna bring up anything or do some certain designs to certain things or like have me think of other movies at all. I was so happy with this whole thing. I was just great. I was oh yeah, no, I was no, I was I can't say the words the things I like to say on the podcast because I'm yeah no oh it's just like I would use different like oh god damn it oh god oh it was amazing like I just it was just great no I was just
So
like I was
reference
fanning
well how
out I
close
was
to fury.
fanning
Mateo released his atomic breath.
So
oh the
reference how he's feeling. It
flooding
is the church fight from Kingsman, the Golden Circle.
oh it was just great it was amazing it just no the movie was just awesome like it just felt
Yeah,
right
yep,
It was a
it did.
good
Except for
piece of cinema.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to do this. I'm sorry.
Oh
Even
no.
though I know people are making fun of it, but it still bothers me, and it bothers me when watching the movie.
Don't
Is
you
how the
dare.
hell was he swimming? How the hell was
No,
he
we don't
swimming?
talk about this.
No,
we don't
no.
talk
He's not
about this.
treading water.
He's treading the water.
I am
He is
ending
treading.
this with chaos.
Okay.
With his head
We can talk
forward?
about this,
Come on.
motherfucker.
He's
We
not
can talk
even-
about this. We can
He's
talk
not
about
laying
this.
on his stomach,
No,
sharking. No,
he
he's
is
just got his head
no.
straight up. He's like looking right down. And
No,
opening
he
his
is
mouth.
to tread. Okay.
He's
I'm
atomic
stretching for
farting
this
his way
one.
across.
I'm stretching.
I don't think you can stretch far enough. Go for it.
Crispy?
Feet.
That's
They
like
gave
broken.
him stubby feet in the first one. We don't know how he's treading the water. Okay? Then the second movie for that one, we don't understand it either because he's a really heavy based creature and he still has stubby feet, but they gave him more crocodile feet at the same time. But they're ain't good feet. But in this one, he actually has real feet. He has the webbed, styled, alligator-ish feet, but they look like they can give him good freaking kicking for treading water. So that motherfucker was treading that water really
No,
well.
he wasn't.
He was. He was
was
doing the
not.
tread. He was
He
doing
was
well.
not.
You just
He
didn't
was at
see the hip
wrong
movement right.
angle. Dude was at the wrong angle. I'm like, what? Like, primarily like the boat chase, and also the boat
Jimmy?
chase scene. No,
Jimmy?
and he was standing up out of the water. He was standing up. I will not accept that he was treading water and had like 75% of his body out of the water.
Jimmy,
No.
just look at the photo I
No.
just sent you in the group chat. Just
No.
look at the photo. Just look at the photo.
If I look at your phone.
Well, everyone, we're going to end on this chaotic note.
I
here.
give
Be
this movie a
prepared.
10. I don't care about the freaking treading
it
the
is
water
a 10.
thing.
That's what I'm saying is they should have given him like an atomic sphincter and just let him just like jet himself around.
Be prepared for the Christmas episode tomorrow, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us on this crazy, crazy night. Good night, everybody.
Hey, you know what they say he's got to go.
No!
Good
We're not stopping because I'm in control of this button.
It was
No,
more
Jimmy!
difficult getting to troll in the persons as opposed to the
It
comment
hurts
sections.
me. Oh,
So-
God.
Well,
Bye,
it should hurt
everybody.
you.
Good night.